Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gambling and Rambling. This is week 13 of the NFL season. Coming off kind of a bad couple weeks for our locks of the week. I think we've gone a combined 0-8. So you would be up 8 units if you just faded all of our picks the last couple weeks. But that means this hopefully is a big bounce back week and we can all get back on track.
You're either hot or you're due.
Right
now we're due.
We're due. I mean, it's not just like one of us either. It's just all of us with our locks. So hopefully we got some good ones today. But starting off here, we have the Cowboys at the Saints. The line is now, it looks like, at Cowboys -4.5. Well, I'm a Saints fan here, so I guess I can go first.
Explain to us why we should take the Cowboys.
You mean the Saints? So I'm going to be on the Saints here at +4.5. As we've seen kind of this week, there's a bunch of COVID news that's been rolling in on the Cowboys side. Amari Cooper still not over his COVID. There's a chance he's not playing. Cedric Wilson might not be playing as well. He's banged up. Zeke is surprising. They said that he was is my internet good?
Yeah, you good.
Oh, okay. It says trying to reconnect. Okay, good. Zeke.
I'd bail out here too, PB. I know you're trying to rationalize it, but the internet's trying
No,
to
I was on a roll there. I had everything okay. That kind of messed me up. Okay, Zeke is banged up, but they said that he's going to get a serious load, whatever that means. But who knows? That could just be coach talk, and then we'll see Pollard just still get a bunch of work. Honestly, I like the fact that Zeke is going to be in because I think Pollard is better. So a banged up Zeke going against a great run defense, I don't think that's going to work great. And the Saints are at home. Taysom Hill, they're making the switch to him as starting quarterback. And I think they're going to establish the run here. Kamara, it looks like he's going to be back. Ingram is going to be back. So with that, especially getting Taysom Hill in there over Simeon, I think is going to add make a big difference. And we cover here at home. So I'm definitely on the Saints +4.5.
Do you cover and do you win?
Yeah, we get the win.
Oh, okay.
But take the 4.5. Yes.
Just in case.
Just in case. Yeah, you get more. Yeah, the four is a key number too. Like 3 is a key number, but so is 4. So
yeah. Depending on who's in and out for the Cowboys, hopefully they stop their COVID outbreak. I mean, obviously
coach is out.
I know. That's obviously
actually that's a benefit. That's beneficial to the Cowboys because Kellen Moore is a better coach anyway. In my
McCarthy's not calling any plays either. So like if Sean Payton got COVID, that's huge, obviously.
Oh yeah, that would be bad.
McCarthy's just kind of like a rah-rah type guy.
Yeah, that's right. He's the clapper. He's like the second coming of the clapper.
The watermelon smasher, dude.
Yeah, the watermelon smasher. I just like the Cowboys. I think they're just a better team. They got to come off a loss to the Raiders at home. They were without their 2 top receiving threats that game, and they still looked very competitive. I know it's the Raiders, and the Saints have a better defense than the Raiders. For the Cowboys to stay in contention with that number 1 seed, they got to keep winning games here, and to drop a game to Saints who don't have an offensive identity right now, I think is a good point to take home, because even with Taysom Hill coming in and playing, I don't know how much that really helps the Saints. I mean, it has to help a little bit because Trevor Simeon's looked bad, but Taysom Hill throwing the ball, if he was a good quarterback, he would already have his shot with the Saints.
He's been injured.
I understand, but even with them, thinking that
he went 3-1 last year, by the way.
Okay, I completely understand, but who were those games against? Were they against big opponents? I can't remember.
I'm not going to remember.
But what I'm saying, I don't think Taysom Hill brings enough to the passing game. Obviously, you guys are going to be run heavy team this week.
Yeah.
I just like the Cowboys here, and I like the under here. I think it's going to be.
Yeah, it's a Thursday night game. Taysom, if he's starting, he should be starting. Run a lot.
The last 2 times these guys played, 2018 and 19, the finals were 12-10 and 13-10.
Oh, so yeah.
So Corey, I think you're
Yeah.
onto something.
And Thursday night.
And Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I think that the Cowboys have more to play for right now. I think that they're the better team, and my brain is telling me that 4.5 is too much, but this is the week where I'm fading my brain. So I'm gonna go Cowboys -4.5 because sticking with my brain has led to about a 3-11 or whatever it was record last week. So give me Cowboys -4.5.
Nick?
Yeah, I mean, Saints haven't won since October 31st. We're approaching December here tomorrow, so I think things need to level out a bit there. I think Taysom Hill does actually help this team. I think it'll be close if Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, that passing attack is out of the question. The Saints are pretty good at the run, so I don't like just Zeke and Pollard carrying the game type of situation, but I think it'll be close. So I'm going to take the points here. You could get them for 4.5 right now on DraftKings. So I'm going with the Saints.
It's time to take the Saints when even Nick is on them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Nick
healthier around the field mostly. I don't like what's up with that offensive line. We've had a lot of injuries there the past month.
There's a chance our left tackle and right tackle could miss this game.
And if that's the case,
it's good for the run offense, right?
What?
It's usually good for the run offense when you're left and right tackle.
Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal, but still, I think our defense alone could get it done, and we're having Taysom in there is going to add Taysom, Ingram, and Kamara. Just running those three, I think, is our game plan for this week.
Kamara's probably touched the ball 45 times in this game.
As you should.
I highly doubt that.
Well, you should, because he's your best offensive player.
All right. So next game, we have early games on Sunday. First one, we have Colts at Texans. We have the line at -9 Colts. Corey, Colts fan, start us off.
Jonathan Taylor touches the ball 45 times this game.
Okay.
He's going to have 5 touchdowns again.
You should.
So going from that game, I know a lot of people are criticizing Frank Reich and his play calling in the second half, where they threw like 22 straight times.
That was good play calling, not bad.
So exactly, 8 or 10 of those calls were RPOs. So they were runs designed for Jonathan Taylor, but Carson Wentz checked out of them, or didn't hand the ball off and threw it. And like on those plays, Frank Reich was saying that they on the ones that were supposed to be runs that he threw, the Colts gained like 7, 12, 13, and 7 yards. And people are up in arms like, oh, you got to run Jonathan Taylor. Like those people who are saying that, I including my father and my little brother, who I watched the game with, which can't do again because it was negative Nancy's left and right. It frustrates me. It's like,
why would you run into Vita Vea, who just lost a tooth? Like, come on.
Well,
that should have been your sign. Like, all right.
Yeah, like we're not running at this guy.
It's just one of those things that it just drove me nuts. Like they know what they're doing. They put up points. We turned the ball over 5 times. Granted, you can't have that, and
you can't have that. But the idea, the play calling was there. Like that's how you attack the Bucks.
Yeah, you had 5 turnovers, and you still, took it down to the wire, 30+ points. So that's saying something about the firepower of that offense. For sure.
All you have to do is look at what the Seahawks are doing and do the opposite of them, and that's kind of what the Colts did. Now they didn't, execute it perfectly with the turnovers, but. That's all you got to do. Because
one of those turnovers, took away points. You can argue all of them took away points, but we were driving first half or second half opening drive, and we were going to score, and we go up, 10 or 13 or 20. So it was like, it was one of those things or 13 or 17. So it's just one of those. It was drive killer. But getting to this game, Colts traveling to Houston. Colts have owned Houston in Houston. T.Y. Hilton loves playing in Houston. He torches them for, 800 yards and like 10 touchdowns in his career there. So I'm not saying this is a huge T.Y. Hilton game. It's a Jonathan Taylor game. They get it right. Colts -9. I think it's pretty easy.
Nick.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, my main point here was exactly what Corey said with the turnovers. They still put up 30 plus points, and like they're an absolute wagon. I'm scrolling through all the losses here, the Texans, and they get beat by like 10 points every game when they lose, pretty much unless they're winning. So, which we know doesn't happen very often. So it's kind of a no-brainer here, taking the Colts.
Yeah, Texans coming off a loss to the Jets and Mr. INT in there. Colts coming off a really, probably my favorite game of last week to watch. I know it was a tough ending for you, Corey, but that was a hell of a game, one way or the other. I'm gonna stick with the teams that I think are going to be the better teams at the end of the year at this point, because I think those teams are starting to play their best football, and the Texans are not one of those teams. The Colts, I think, are. And so for that reason, I'll take Colts -9.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the Colts -9 here. If this was over, if it even got to 10 or 10.5, especially, I'd switch to the Texans. But I think this having it under 10, I think it's still better to take the Colts here. What?
Well, I was just going to interrupt you really quick. Last time the Colts played, they beat him 31-3. Jonathan Taylor touched the ball. He ran the ball 14 times for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. So just imagine if he gets,
when he was splitting carries too.
Yeah. So imagine if he gets 20 plus carries, how many?
Yeah, this is definitely more of like a Taylor game.
Is that good?
But yeah, I just think, the Colts obviously are playing for a lot here, and coming off that loss. I mean, the Texans just got beat by the Jets. You can't really call this like a bounce back game for the Texans, because I mean, they're not even playing they're playing for like a better draft slot, to be honest. And so, yeah, I'm going to take the Colts -9. I don't really have too much else to say.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing is Texans. I mean, the only thing they're also playing for is ruining other people's playoff chances. So, but even with that being said, they don't have the key playmakers on offense to beat the Colts. I mean, last time they played, Mark Ingram was their running back, and he led the team. And
Yeah.
So I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, the Colts should. Yeah. And Nick, are you last? Have you gone?
Yeah, he took Colts.
Oh, okay, you took. Okay. Next game we have Vikings at Lions. Spread is right now. Is it -7? I thought I saw it. Yeah, no, I think it's still -7. We'll start off with Alex on this one.
Yeah, this is a tough NFC North matchup. You've got both starting running backs out. Dalvin out. They said maybe 2 weeks. Wasn't that weird that he got carted off for a shoulder injury? But then they let Conklin walk off the field with a torn like patella tendon or whatever it was. Like
someone's going to get
fired. That was and that, like, a guy that size, like, doing that. Oh my God. Anyways, back to this game. -7. Vikings have been playing. I mean, they ran into a buzzsaw in the 49ers last week, but they've been playing pretty good football otherwise. The Lions are the Lions, and they're without their best player in DeAndre Swift. I think that the Vikings can cover a touchdown, if not, at worst case, push one.
Corey?
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, the Lions have covered
they're one of the best teams, and that's why it's one of the teams that I've been on in these.
Which is crazy.
They've been one of the best teams against the spread. Yeah.
Well, okay, fair enough. A lot of their spreads have been like
giant
points.
Yeah, but that's what you're not. Again, this is like a classic example of they're the worst. You're not betting teams win. I know. You're not betting teams. You're betting numbers.
I know. I totally agree with you there. With that being said, DeAndre Swift out. That hurts. I mean, that is a big blow.
More than Dalvin Cook being out.
Yeah. Madison's a great backup.
I just think the Vikings, they've been playing. I feel like all their games that they've played that they've lost have been by like 7 points or less.
They have. Yeah, that's the stat. They have been.
So that's crazy. It's even like, I mean, their record could be totally different now. So I like the Vikings here, traveling to the Ford Field and putting a whooping on the sad Lions, who are probably gonna be the first team to go 0-16 in a 17-game schedule.
They go
Yeah.
16 again.
They're going to go 0-17.
That's
they
that's
wanted to capture that title really quick. I mean, they're 1-for-1 on the new game total. So
They wanted to be the
hats
first
off
team
to
to do
them.
that.
They know their place. So
They're still
good for
the
the
first at
Lions.
something. They're still
on
in
FanDuel,
first.
you can bet that if they'll go 0-16 or defeat the entire year, it's the favorite at plus 160 against all the matches coming up.
It's
believe
horrible
it.
odds for that.
No. Right?
Like I said, the reason why I was on the Bears against that one week is that was like I thought their best chance to get a win, and almost did it, still couldn't deliver.
Covered though.
Yeah, they covered, and I had that, but they didn't win. Nick, who do you have here?
Yeah, I like the Vikings a lot. They've played some pretty tough teams the past 5 weeks. They got Dallas, Baltimore, the Chargers, Green Bay, San Fran, and like they hung in there. They won a couple of them. Now they're going up against a much easier team for once. And without DeAndre Swift, I just don't think they have any chance of really maybe scoring. So give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be on the Vikings here as well. I think they've played so many close games against against great teams, and like they haven't really had an opportunity to just beat down on a team. And I think this could be it. I think that they could pound the Lions here. I know the Lions have been one of the best teams against the spread this year, but I always talk about regression to the mean, and the fact that the Lions, the way they're going to regress is even getting worse is crazy, considering they're one of the most profitable teams against the spread. I think that regresses now. And I think the Vikings can throb the Lions here. The Vikings are super motivated as well for a playoff spot. So I'm on the Lions, or I'm on the Vikings. Next game, we have the Giants at Dolphins. The spread is -3 Dolphins. Nick, we're going to start off with you.
I like the Dolphins. I think they're kind of a sneaky good team. We saw Tua's one of the better quarterbacks over the past few weeks. You want to give me that stat, PV?
I don't know. You're the one that sent it, but no, I've been on the Dolphins. I've been.
Yeah.
I'm the one that texted to watch out for him. I said sneaky playoff team. I mean, it's a long
sneaky
shot,
playoff
but
team. I think
they've won
covers
4
3
straight.
points. Yeah. I think they're kind of a secret wagon here. Giants don't have much going for them. The Freddie Kitchen experiment is not going well. Big surprise there.
They just beat the Eagles.
Got a dub.
Yeah, but I think that was the defense more than anything.
Yeah, it was, but it's just funny. You said the Freddie Kitchen experiment is one game and they win.
I just don't think that offense is like going to do anything. I think the Miami defense is actually getting back to what they were doing last year, and like they're playing really well. I just don't think that their
run defense is
beat
like
them.
it's been crazy since they started their win streak. Their run defense has been incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're playing like a good team. So I'm not betting against them for the foreseeable future, especially against the Giants. Jeez.
Yeah, well, I'll go second just because I agree with Nick here. A couple weeks ago I said watch out for the Dolphins. Sneaky playoff team. I know it's really competitive in the AFC right now, so it would still be very tough for them to make it. But I'm pretty sure they have a pretty easy schedule. I forget who they play next. It might be like the Jets.
No, the Saints are on that schedule, so I guess the Saints are pretty easy to beat too.
No, I know the Saints were on one of them or one of the games, but I think the Jets were next.
Jets are next, and then they go to New Orleans, then they go to Tennessee, and then they're at home against the Patriots.
Yeah, so but at home divisional game that. But yeah, so the end of it is a little tough, but I think they can be 500 after these next 2 games. And so it at least puts them in the picture. And I think, they're definitely much better than the Giants. I like getting the 3 and not having to go 3.5. So yeah, I'm on Dolphins here.
I really don't think the Dolphins are that much better than the Giants. The they've beaten. Okay, they beat the Patriots very first game of the year. Yeah,
Can
blown.
I get a timeout real quick?
Yeah,
Just in, Adam Schefter. Daniel Jones is sitting this game with a neck strain he suffered on Sunday.
Really?
Really?
Yep.
gosh darn it!
Schefter breaking news live episode.
Literally, was just going into my Giants picks here. Who's the
Yeah,
Giants
well-
backup quarterback?
Mike Glennon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Giraffe neck.
I don't know if we
I'm not
can
sure
even.
if it's actually
can we-
Mike Glennon. That would just
No,
be
it
my
is- it is
preferred
Mike.
backup.
It is Glenn. Now,
is
let,
Glenn
can
for
we
sure.
even bet this? Hang on.
they're probably gonna take it off the board.
Probably.
No, yeah, it's definitely probably off. Oh no, it's at 5. It's at 5 now.
That's 5 now. That
I
does.
guarantee the sportsbook down here took it off as soon as that news breaks. Because
Yeah.
Right,
So
so
if you were
yeah.
able to get the 3, congrats. I still honestly like the 5 because
Nick, are you sticking
No.
with 5?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
For
stick
sure.
with 5. Yeah.
All right. Corey, go
okay,
ahead.
well, I still don't. Gosh darn it, man! I don't like the Dolphins. I don't think they're. I don't think they're that
Then go
good.
bet Mike Glennon.
Yeah,
Well, I don't want to
bet Mike
fight
Glennon.
Mike Glennon.
Let's
We're
get
not
a
betting Mike
Glennon
Glennon.
pick
You're
right
getting
here.
Mike Glennon plus 5 points. So there you go.
Okay. Well, I again, they've not played really anyone. I'm going to be contrarian here. I'm going to stick with my gut that I was going with. Block it in, Giants.
That's right, Corey.
But-
stick to
but-
it, Corey.
But I'm waiting until I'm not putting that number in until I see what it pops up on Sunday, because I'm going to get more points here when this news comes out.
No,
So-
I honestly, usually what happens is people love going to the second news breaks. They love betting the team, and sportsbooks
yeah.
know that. So actually, if anything, this line can move back in the Giants' favor or the Dolphins' favor.
See,
So
I'm waiting. I'm putting question mark because wherever they open up at Sunday morning, that's what I want.
okay,
I'll take the risk of it going down.
all right.
So I had the Giants last week against the Eagles, and you guys roped me into changing my.
I was on the Giants. I know I wasn't on the show, but I
No.
said I was on the
I
Giants.
know. I was the first to go. I said Giants, and then these two guys started
No,
rattling off.
Nick did it with his Freddie Kitchens.
Freddie
slander.
Kitchens
Yeah.
slander, and then I realized.
Can you blame me?
Because the Eagles aren't that good.
No, okay. Well, we're not on the Eagles yet, so
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I was gonna roll with the Giants again here before this Daniel Jones news. And it's kind of like last week where I was gonna roll with the Giants until the Freddie Kitchens news. And I lost last week when I changed my mind.
You did, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you changed your mind. I forgot about that. They
Yeah.
convinced you.
So fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. I'm taking the Giants plus 5.
yeah.
Not sure that's how it works, but let's see how this one plays out, Marv.
The Dolphins are gonna roll the Giants.
Ugh.
All right. Next game we have Bucks at Falcons.
A lot of points.
11 points.
A lot of points.
Yeah, a lot of points here.
3 games in double digits.
We'll start off with Alex on this one.
Yeah. Second largest spread on the slate this week, 50.5 over under. Brady going into the Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like too many points. I'm going back and forth on this right now because I'm definitely fading most of like what my gut is telling me this week. My gut's telling me Brady owns the Falcons and the Mercedes-Benz Dome, but 11 is a lot of points. And the Falcons with Cordarrelle Patterson are a different team.
Sure are. They only scored 6 points through like I think 4 or 5 games without Cordell.
Damn. We're gonna go Bucks. I think Brady continues to own the Falcons. It's a huge.
All right. Well, I'll jump on your side because, like I was just saying with the Cordell stat, if they're going to try and run him against Vita Vea, who, by the way, is 350 pounds and probably runs like a 4.3, he's not going to outrun that guy. So I think it could be a blowout, honestly. Tampa Bay is kind of in a perfect spot to just blow a team out, kind of get the momentum train going for a playoff run here. That's kind of typical Tom fashion. So
this is when they turn it on. This is when they
Yep.
did it last year too.
Yeah, Gronk's back healthy. We saw him put up 20+ points last week. Called that one. They're back. Godwin, I think, he's going to step up. He had a kind of an off game, but yeah, they're not going to stop this team. So,
Corey?
I think AB plays this game. I think he's fully back to being healthy. Falcons look just up and down. I don't know what to make of them because they don't really have any offensive weapons besides Patterson. Pitts is kind of came into realism and like he's a rookie tight end.
He's still gonna be second ever in history to, in yards, right behind
Tony Gonzalez.
What?
Is it Tony Gonzalez?
No, I think it was someone else.
well, he should. He was the number 4 pick and the only player on that offense for like 3/4 of the season.
I know, but
So
he gets double teamed every week. Like so many guys on him.
Still a stud for sure.
the greats figure it out, so he hasn't figured it out yet.
What do you mean? He's about to be the second, most in the history of.
I would like to see his stats against good teams. So that's what I would like to see.
Okay, well, he's gonna go off here. I'll tell you that.
I think the tight end position's evolving a little bit. We see him lining up outside. Like sometimes he's playing receiver. So I don't know if we could really categorize tight ends anymore as their own separate little section there, but I don't know. The leagues are changing.
Are you taking the Bucks, Corey?
I'm going to take the Bucks here -11. I think again it's a big spot, or it's a big spread, but I think with the way their team's playing, the momentum, the points they're scoring, their defense looks to be playing a little bit better, and I don't think Matt Ryan can beat the Bucks and through the air with their weapons that they have. So I like the Bucks here -11.
Well, I'm going to be on the Falcons +11. If you've faded, here's a little if you've bet the Lions spread every week, you've won money. If you've bet the Bucks spread every week, you've lost money. And that's just a simple people, they like betting on good teams. Whereas, we're betting numbers, and the Bucks are one of the biggest, one of the heaviest publicly bet teams in the league. And so Vegas knows this, and their lines always inflated. That's why they're, been probably one of the worst teams against the spread this year. And so, it's just another fade Tom Brady. He hasn't looked good. No one can deny that. He's, the last 3 games, he's thrown like as many touchdowns as interceptions, I think. So yeah, I'm on the Falcons +11, divisional game in Atlanta. I think Pitts has a really good game here. Who knows? Ridley could be announced coming back at any second. I doubt it's this week, but it could always happen.
He's not coming back.
He's not playing the rest of this year.
Yeah. You're probably right, but I'm just saying, I think there's definitely value. There's no value taking the Bucks at over 10 points here, in my opinion. So yeah, give me the Falcons at home +11. Next game, we have Eagles at the Jets. We have Eagles -6.5. We'll start with Nick here.
I mean, 2 pretty average football teams, but we have seen the Eagles really blow some teams out. So 6.5 feels like a lot, but it's the Jets. I think Michael Carter's still out. I guess I'll go with the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Is that the saying?
Fly, Eagles.
I think this is, again, I think Eagles roll the Jets here. And I think Miles Sanders could have a really good game. I think Jalen Hurts.
He might not play.
Okay, so if he doesn't play, then Boston Scott, whoever the running back is there, is
their running backs don't matter. So it's just
they're gonna run all over this team. Jalen Hurts could, possibly be the QB1 for fantasy this week if he's fully.
He
healthy.
might be out too. Just letting you know that.
What?
He might be out as well.
No, I said if he's healthy.
Okay.
So if Jalen Hurts, everyone's healthy, I'm taking the Eagles there.
Alex?
Yeah, this seems like an obvious pick on the Eagles. So just because of that, I'm going to take the Jets +6.5. Even though I hate saying that I'm going to bet the Jets, I'm going to do it.
Dude, Zach Wilson's going to get eaten alive by the secondary.
It's not
Yeah.
going to be good.
Have you ever heard anyone in your life say, "Oh, I won that bet," and they bet on the Jets? I've never
Let
heard
me
it.
see what the Jets are against the spread this year. It might not even be as bad as you think.
Probably not, but I mean,
Or no, it's bad. It's just the worst in the league. So give me an 8.
All right, give me the
worse
Jets.
than Tampa Bay.
So yeah, I mean, you're always talking regressions of mean, but they're pretty bad.
Plays here. So
So you're on the Jets plus 6.5.
Yeah, lock it in.
Lock
Yeah, the win.
I'm going
You
to
went with
be,
the low ownership strategy there. Not a lot of other people were picking them, so had to
Yeah.
differentiate. I like it.
I'm going to be on the Eagles here. I think this is more of a matchup thing because the Jets are so terrible against the run. And that's how the Eagles like to play. As we saw against the Giants, Hurts, at times he's just super inconsistent as a passer. Like there's times when he looks great, but there's times when he looks like he did against the Giants and he's just not that good. But what we do know is the Eagles do love to run the ball. And whether it's Boston Scott, whether it's Sanders, they're gonna do well against the Jets. I really like it more if Hurts plays because he's like the biggest rushing threat on that team. Having Gardner Minshew back there against the Jets, I'd probably be on the Jets side of the spread, but as long as Hurts is in there, I'm on the Eagles. So next game, we have Cardinals at Bears. Cardinals are 7.5-point favorites. It looks like Kyler and Hopkins should be back this week. We'll start out with Corey on this one.
I don't know. I really don't. I think if I'm a Cardinals fan, do I want, Kyler and DeAndre Hopkins back right now? If I know they're coming off a bye and they missed what? They missed 2 games, 3 games.
You want them back as soon as possible.
I think it might have been 3.
They're still winning games though with Colt McCoy, and I know they went 2-1 with them.
Yeah, that's why I think the only way they're back is if they're like 100%.
100%. Yeah, and they still have a good lead over in their division ahead of the Rams. So if Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are playing, I'll take a -7.5. If they're not, I'll be on the Bears. Is Dalton playing or is it Fields?
That determines what side I'm on of the spread here, but I think it's Dalton.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Dalton. They said that Fields has actually some fractured ribs. So
okay, well, you know what? If it's Dalton, I kind of like Dalton more here than I like. All right, I think the Bears defense is pretty good.
Is Khalil Mack done for the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm all right. I'm switching my pick. I'm on the Bears -6.5 or 7.5.
Plus 7.5.
Plus 7.5.
No, you got to take a -7.5 now.
Alternate spread.
My favorite.
You'd get amazing odds on that. I can guarantee it.
Plus 400. Nick.
I think kind of the injury story here. Bears not very healthy. Cardinals back to full strength. I know they're 9-2, so like they don't need to win, but they're just gonna steamroll the Bears. Let's be honest. If Kyler's healthy, like it's not gonna be close. So I think they could beat him by a touchdown.
Alex?
Yeah. This is a tough one too, over a touchdown, but I think like Corey was saying, I mean, if Kyler and Hopkins both play, like I don't love, like this could easily be a double-digit spread in my mind, especially coming off of a bye week too. They've had like 2 weeks to prep for them. Everything is telling me to take the Cardinals, so I will go with the Bears plus 7.5.
Also,
Literally, you're just fading your brain.
Everything to kind of think about here is like it takes a couple. It takes a couple quarters to get back into game speed right away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, if he gets like if he takes a hit and is like hobbled, they might just pull him right away and just like say like cut our losses. It's the Bears, and
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the Bears here. As long as we're pretty confident it's Dalton. If it was Fields, I'm taking the Cardinals all day. But yeah, with
Yeah.
Dalton, I think he's more capable enough to keep a game closer. And yeah, like Corey was saying, with Kyler and Hopkins coming back, I think Hopkins should be like, I mean, I don't think it'll take a whole lot for him to get up to game speed, but maybe Kyler just not being out on the field, throwing balls, running. I think it might take him a little bit to get up to game speed. Like you could see like the Bears score an early touchdown and then the Cardinals maybe playing from behind a little bit. I'm not sure, maybe a backdoor cover, but I think the Bears can cover 7.5 at home here. So I'm on the Bears.
I don't
Next
know.
game.
I mean, the Cardinal, as good as the record was, they were only 500 in November. So I think they just got to put it together and like start getting some momentum for the second half of the year. So thinking a blowout here, boys.
All right. It's not, so no one's had a lock yet. Just being like, no, you haven't gone over a game yet. That's a lock.
Nope. This early
Alright.
slate, except for this last game, is not great.
Yeah. I guess I haven't had my lock yet either. Next game, we have the Chargers at Bengals. Bengals -3. Well, I guess I haven't started off one in a minute, so I'll go ahead and go first. I've been on the Bengals since before the season started. I don't know how more people weren't on them. They have one of the best offenses in the league with those receivers, Mixon. And, I think this is a spot they've come off some big wins recently, but I also do think the Chargers are a pretty solid team and they've had some letdown spots recently. And I think at a field goal, and both teams I think are pretty solid. I think I have to take the points here with the Chargers in a really close game with the Bengals. I think this one could just come down to the wire. But I just think they're really evenly matched, and I just have to take the points in this case. But I do love the Bengals so much that they're a very, very good team.
Yeah, the Bengals are fun to watch. They got so much young talent. I mean, Mixon had 165 yards and
Just a monster
or something, and like I think he scored 2 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Like just some insane stat like that. And obviously you got Jamar putting up crazy numbers.
Higgins come alive.
Yeah.
Boyd is,
Boyd had a couple good games
back, but yeah, he just sprinkles in a few good games here and there. But yeah, that Higgins and Chase duo with Mixon. I mean, Burrows looked great. What were you saying, Corey, before the season started? He's just going to get eaten alive every play by opposing D lines because he has no protection.
Yeah, in the games they lose, he gets absolutely obliterated.
Okay, but we talked about like the Raiders that one game, and they have a good defensive front, and they destroyed them.
All I said was if you get pressure on Joey B, he doesn't look as good as he should yet. That's all I said. And
hasn't he been the best quarterback in the league against the blitz?
I don't know. You'd have to look that stat up.
I'm almost positive Joe Burrow is the number 1 quarterback against the blitz this season.
Well, I mean that could in the games that they've lost.
What do you mean?
I mean,
like
they've lost.
What stat? Like the QBR or what?
Yeah,
what are
like
you using to determine the best
like
quarterback?
His like PFF grade or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of what's on that, Alex, did you finish up?
No. I hadn't even really started.
All right. Well, you go and then I'll go.
Okay. All right. This is going to be, this is the best game on the early slate, no question. Chargers coming off a bad loss to the Broncos. We all fell for that trap line. Bengals coming off a great win versus the Steelers. I don't know if that trend of teams who didn't cover against teams who covered the week prior is still kind of in effect, but I'm going to roll with that strategy here. I'm going to take Chargers +3 going into Cincy, and I think probably getting a win here too.
I think the Chargers are a better team right now than the Bengals. The records are the same, right? Or
no, I think the Bengals are
one game ahead of them.
One game ahead of them.
So yeah, with that being said, it's a tight playoff race. I think this is a game who determines who gets in between these two teams. As funny as that sounds,
Why can't both of them make it?
because I don't think the Bengals make it in with their remaining schedule. I have to look it up again. I think Justin Herbert's a better quarterback than Joey B at this time. I think weapon sets, I think they're both pretty even. With that being said, I think the Chargers have a little bit better of a defense than the Bengals, not by a lot. And I just think that the Chargers go in, they get a win after looking pretty bad. So give me the Chargers here, +3.
Yeah, I think the reason that they were sputtering so much was a lot of that secondary was hurt, which is kind of the strength of their whole team.
Are they
Talking about
healthy
the
now?
Chargers here. So
Healthy.
Asante Samuel's coming back. They lost a couple guys to IR, cornerbacks and a strong safety, but not one of the top guys. And I think Asante Samuel's he's playing like one of the best cornerbacks in the league for being a rookie, especially. So he's questionable. I think this game I almost want to pick based on that decision.
Wow.
Because I think it's going to be really close. And if Asante Samuel
Give me a good
versus
game.
Jamar Chase, like it's going to be an awesome matchup. So it's hard to say. So like anything that moves the needle one way or the other, like I kind of want to take that side.
That's kind of why I just took the points.
know?
It's like it's such a close game. You may as well get the team that could still win it, and you get a field goal,
And both these teams started out so hot, kind of had some midseason lulls. Chargers were a little banged up, and we saw the Bengals lose to the Jets 3 weeks ago. So like at the same time, it's like kind of scary to say that they're a wagon right now. But I don't know. They beat the Steelers pretty handily, and they're looking good off the bye week. A couple weeks ago, beat the Raiders. So I'm going to take the Bengals in this one.
Here's the Bengals remaining games. So Chargers, Niners, Broncos, Ravens, Chiefs, Browns.
Yeah,
So
one non-playoff team.
yeah. So I'm thinking that this could be the determining factor. If you want to go by percentage chance of each game, I mean, they may not. They'll probably be favored in like 2 of those last remaining 5 games. So
Probably against Denver, maybe.
Denver and
they'll be favored against especially if they beat the Chargers. Even if they lose, it'd be at least like a pick 'em probably against the 49ers.
yeah, but I mean the 49ers are looking good right now. So I don't know. Like I said, I think this game determines between these two who gets in. So
Yeah, this is definitely probably like I think it's the game of the week or game like between the midday games and the early games. It has to be the game of the week.
yeah, and then the Chargers' remaining schedule is Bengals, Giants, Chiefs, Texans, Broncos, Raiders.
I agree. This game, I think, has a ton of playoff implications. And I think it's this isn't even a game. Like, they're so evenly matched. Just like the Mixon is such a good match against the Chargers.
There's no X factor.
Eckler has a really good matchup against the Bengals. And so it's just both of our teams are such good matchups. This is going to be one of the best games, I think.
Big DFS game.
Yeah, it could be. Hopefully it's not just a big defensive battle. I think I want that one. I want to see that one turn into a shootout. But all right, now we're going to the midday games. We got the Washington football team. This team is confusing me right now. At the Raiders, we have the Raiders at 2.5 favorites. We'll start out with Alex on this one.
Yeah, Raiders coming off a good win. They put up 36 on the Cowboys. Shout out to all of us for calling that to be the Thanksgiving Day game to play. Very clearly was.
Yeah,
done some Bills in there, but the Washington football team, like you're saying, PB, they're confusing. Like
they are.
Like that Seahawks team is so bad. It is so bad, and they almost managed to lose to them.
They did.
But they've what? So now, but you can say that Taylor Heineke has beat Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, and who was in the between there? They beat someone. They beat right after the Bucs game. Who'd they beat? The Raiders? Was it the Raiders? No,
they're playing the Raiders.
Oh yeah. They're playing
Bucs, Broncos.
Bronco. Bucks, Broncos.
They
Then
lost to the Broncos, lost to the Chiefs.
it was 3 in a row. I think they beat the Bucks, someone
Oh,
else.
Panthers.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they beat the Panthers.
So
Yeah,
Cam
so
Newton.
he's on like a nice little streak here. But what do you think? Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah. Under a field goal though, this Raiders team, if they can put up 36 on the Cowboys, like I don't think that the football team has enough firepower to keep up with that.
Yeah.
And it's also in Las Vegas. So I'll take the Raiders at home here and lay the points.
All right. Corey.
Washington's in the playoffs if they start tomorrow. So let that sink in. I'm with everyone else here. I don't know what the Washington football team is. I mean, that offensive line looked pretty good yesterday. I mean, they held that ball in the final fourth quarter for like 10 minutes. And
They
like,
did that last game too. Remember they had like a
against
drive
Tom
to
Brady
against the Bucks.
Yeah. So they obviously know what their identity is, which is they want just to completely control the game time wise. And they're not a shootout team whatsoever. I don't think they have it in them to do that. And I don't think Taylor Heineke is quite there as a quarterback. I was watching that game last night and he couldn't make some of the throws he was throwing looked not like a pro football quarterback should make like across the field, like comeback routes. And he just couldn't get the ball there. Like he doesn't have the arm strength that most quarterbacks have, but their defense is playing better. They're looking good. And I don't think the Raiders are that good. Yes, they beat the Cowboys, but I don't know. Raiders always going to Raiders at one point, at one point in the season. So I'm going to take the football team here on the road at +2.5.
Nick.
I think the Raiders are going to win by more than a field goal. So I'm sticking with the Raiders. I think the Washington football team is a bunch of frauds. Seattle's terrible. Carolina's terrible. That was the whole Cam Newton experiment comeback game.
Yeah, what did I say about that? Talking about how
I think Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, that win, I'm just going to say that was an anomaly. They happen. Just going to move past it. I'm not going to alter my decision on such a strange event. Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. So give me the Raiders.
Yeah, I wish the Panthers were on the slate so we could have talked about how bad Cam is. I don't know why people thought like how quick they were. Like, he comes back, he looks all right for a little bit, and people are like, oh, he's back. No, he's still trash. That's why he wasn't on a football team. And that's why the Panthers aren't going anywhere. But not getting to this game, the football team versus the Raiders, I think the football team's coming off 3, what maybe someone call fluky wins, maybe not. They probably, especially against like the Panthers, like, yeah, I expected them to win that game. But now going into Las Vegas against a team like Derek Carr, a team like the Raiders who love to pass, and Derek Carr, that's their offense. And the Washington football team is terrible against the pass. I could not believe Russell Wilson couldn't. I don't understand what Pete Carroll is doing with that team. Like I texted you guys, I was like, this 2-minute before the game ended, I texted you guys, I said, whatever happens in this 2-minute drill is what they should do throughout the entire game. What Wilson drives like 80 yards, scores a touchdown in like a minute and a half. Why don't they run their offense like that? I know we're not even on the Seahawks, but I'm saying that Washington football team is so vulnerable against the pass. I don't know what they were thinking all game.
I think he's still hurt. I think he's faint.
I think that finger is still affecting him. He missed a couple of throws.
Yeah, he sailed some passes for sure. But I don't know. I don't think he'd be running the ball around as much and willing to take as much sacks as he was if his finger was that hurt. I don't know. I just think that Seahawks team right now it's Pete Carroll. That guy needs to go. The dude's a dinosaur. He doesn't know how to coach. But we're not even on the Seahawks. It's just this football team is not good against the pass. And Derek Carr, he shreds bad pass defenses.
He puts up yards.
Yeah, he puts up yards. And he put like 400 against the Cowboys. I think the Raiders easily win this by more than a field goal. we could see another big Deshaun Jackson touchdown, Brian Edwards, Renfro. One of them's gonna have a big game probably. Unfortunately, Waller's probably not playing because he probably would have had a big day. But yeah, I'm taking the Raiders here.
Are you sure he's not playing?
Waller, yeah, I don't think he's
Yeah.
playing. They might be testing it out, but I doubt he plays. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back to my lock because I think this is my lock of the week. I don't see how the Raiders don't win this by at least a field goal at home. Yeah, this is my lock. I'm going with it. It's funny because we'll get to the Seahawks, but they were the other one that I was thinking about locking in. But I'm locking in the Raiders at -2.5. That's my lock of the week.
Lock it in.
All right. Next we have Jaguars at Rams. Spread is -12.5. We'll start out with Nick.
It's a lot of points. 12.5.
Yep.
This one feels kind of like one of those number games. I'm going to take Urban Meyer for a late season cover. 12.5. I don't think they're going to win, but I think Trevor Lawrence has to show at least one good game. Like we're like, oh, that's why he was the number one pick. So maybe it's when he's dancing all over Jalen Ramsey or outrunning Aaron Donald. I'm not sure why I just took the Jaguars, but we're going with it.
There's no gun to your head. Take it back. Take it back.
Everyone else is sticking to it, so I'm not going to flip-flop.
This is such an easy pick. The Rams, I mean, they're at home. I mean, this is a game where they're pissed. Everyone's saying like, oh, you can't bring in these random players like these superstars and put together a winning roster. Like that may be true. That could be definitely true. They might not have, the locker room that they need to win, but it's the Jaguars. It's Urban Meyer. He's probably already starting to pack his bags to go up to South Bend and become the next coach at Notre Dame because they are going to get absolutely obliterated. I think Matthew Stafford, so the question is, Matthew Stafford is hurt and he's playing through injuries. So he's looked, kind of worse.
Terrible.
He hasn't looked great. No, I will give you that, but he's still a Hall of Fame quarterback. They have the weapons. The Jaguars do not have the weapons. Like Nick was saying, I think Jalen Ramsey takes one to the house, and I think Aaron Donald probably has like 4 or 5 sacks in this game. So give me the Rams at home.
This is so many points. But I already took the Jets on the board. And I will
Jags and the Jets.
I will not allow myself to take the Jets and the Jaguars. I just can't do it. I'm going to go Rams at home here in a bounce back spot that they desperately need. Because right now they're going to be traveling in the playoffs, and that team has not looked good on the road, and especially if you have to go to Green Bay. Like
you don't want to play in Green Bay.
They don't want to do that. So I think this is a statement win. I think it's a blowout win. I could honestly see them like goose egging the Jaguars and just putting up a fat donut. So I'll take Rams and lay the points.
Yeah, I'm going to be on the Rams as well, -12.5. The Rams probably have like 3 more wins on their schedule, and this is definitely one of them. And I think this is just, we've seen Stafford can't compete with like good teams. We've talked about this. He's 9-70 in his career against teams with winning records. And, I don't care that he was on the Lions but he had Calvin Johnson. They had a couple maybe one playoff team, who knows, in that time span, but he still, he can't compete against good teams, good quarterbacks. It's been a case of his whole career, but what he does do is he beats up on bad teams, and the Jaguars would classify as a bad team. And so, yeah, if this year, if you've bet, when the Rams are playing against a good team, if you've taken the other team's spread, you probably won. And if they've played against bad teams and you've taken the Rams spread, you've probably won. So yeah, I think the Rams absolutely roll here. We'll get into the DFS slate tomorrow, but I think their defense has a huge showing. I don't think this is the game where Trevor Lawrence comes alive by any means. I think they play like the Texans and the Jets later in the year. And I think that's where you see like he's Lawrence come alive at the end of the year, hope for the next season, but it's definitely not here against the Rams. Yeah, I think, I could see a Jalen Ramsey. They haven't scored a defensive touchdown yet this year for all of the pressures that they bring on quarterback and interceptions, fumble work. They have 0 defensive touchdowns. I think they get the defensive touchdown this week as well. So yeah, I'm on the Rams there. Next game, Ravens at Steelers. Another game that potentially could have some playoff implications, but definitely not as entertaining as that Bengals Chargers, as these teams are much slower paced. We'll start out with Nick on this one. Your Brownies are in that division. What's going to happen here?
I like the Ravens -4.5, but I think it'll be a close game. Like you're saying, slow pace, very run heavy, both sides. I think maybe the Ravens have an edge just on the defensive front. Actually, if TJ Watt is still out, I like the Ravens even more, but kind of waiting to see what they decide on his front, because he's kind of a big factor. So
He has COVID, so I don't think he can play in this game.
this will be the second week he missed for that, right?
No.
I'm no doctor. I thought it was still up in the air.
Who was that?
Maybe he is available to play this week. I'm not sure.
Who was
He was
that?
out last week with it too. So TJ Watt. But I like the Ravens either way. It's just kind of another added factor for why I think it's kind of a Ravens game here. They're not messing around. Defense looked really good. Big Ben needs to hang it up. That was incredibly obvious last week if you watched even 5 minutes of that game. So I think maybe Marlon Humphreys, kind of bounces back. He's had a tough year, so let him get a couple off Big Ben.
Yeah, this game is really it's an interesting game because I don't think the Ravens are a good team at all. I think it's very evident that Lamar Jackson still has a lot of work to do to become a good quarterback. I understand the Browns have a good defense, but the fact that he threw 4 interceptions or something like that, he turned the ball over 4 times and they still won, is pretty crazy to think about. With the Watt situation, if he's out, I kind of feel like the Ravens have a better shot at winning, but like if you get pressure on Lamar Jackson, you saw what the Dolphins did, and he looked bad. The offense looked bad. So I like the Steelers here at +4 at home. It's a divisional game. I don't think the Steelers are going anywhere, but I think they keep it close and they win. And I think, because Big Ben's head is like getting ready to be put on a pike outside the stadium there at Heinz Field. So I think he has to win this game to maybe have another shot at potentially being the quarterback again at the end of the year, or I should say next year. So give me the Steelers here at +4.
Big Ben is done. He's done after this year. No one's going to take him back after this year. Steelers are eyeing down their first losing season in I think 14 years or something crazy like that. And they still are playing, for that and potentially a wild card spot.
Yeah.
They're at home here, home pups. I think that this game stays close. I could see like a game-winning Justin Tucker field goal in like a similar game as the Ravens-Browns game last week, where it's like 13-10 or 17-14 or something like that. But the Steelers being home pups, Pittsburgh is, not like the craziest home field advantage, but it's definitely there. So for those reasons, I'm going to take Steelers +4.
Yeah, this is a really tough game for me. Definitely won't be betting it, because I do think the Steelers are super overrated. I think they're a bad team. Ravens definitely better than the Steelers, but they're laying 4 points. And I think they're overrated as well. I don't think that they're a Super Bowl contender by any means. Lamar Jackson, yes, he's a amazing on the ground, amazing runner. That's what keeps them in football games or wins football games. But as a passer, we've seen it throughout his whole career. He'll have great games passing, but then he'll have games like he had against the Browns. I mean, just look terrible. I mean, he has I feel like he has close to as many interceptions as he does touchdowns this year, doesn't he? Like, can anyone look that up? I feel like he has he's thrown as many touchdowns as interceptions, or it's awfully close. And I don't know. I think laying 4 points in Pittsburgh is just probably a bit.
15 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
Okay. So kind of close. Yeah, I think it's just probably, man, I hate the Steelers though.
It's tough. I think it will be close. So
yeah, so it's just, I'm going to take the points with the Steelers just because they're at home. And, I still think the Ravens probably win this game, but I just can't lay 4 points with the Ravens, who I also think are overrated. So don't bet this game though. It's a terrible game to bet in my opinion. Next game we have 49ers at Seahawks. Seahawks plus 3.5. We'll start out with Alex.
Well, I'm glad you started out with me because this is my lock of the week. That Seahawks team is hot garbage. They are so bad. Everything about that Monday night game was probably the worst called and played football game I've watched from a team that's supposed to have a half decent roster in a long, long time. So obviously you watch a Lions game or a Jags game, you know what you're going to get. But with the Seahawks for the last, I don't know, however long Russ has been in the league, 6 years, whatever. They've been a team who they win those close games. They win those games that are hard fought until the end. And they just haven't been doing it this year. And you saw all the preseason stuff with Russ and Pete Carroll. I think a lot of that is factoring into it. They pretty much don't have anything to play for anymore. I don't think Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson are on that team next year, and they're even worse than they are this year. I know the 49ers aren't with Debo, who is a huge piece of their offense, but I still think you got guys on that side of the ball like Kittle and Ayuk, Ayuk's been turning up lately, but Kittle's been a little hit or miss. I think those guys pick up the slack, and the 49ers, who have been a buzzsaw lately, continue their run here.
Nick?
Agreed. Yeah, I like San Fran's side a lot. I think their defense is kind of playing that team that was in the Super Bowl. We're starting to seeing that kind of come back. I don't know if it's at the same level, but we're seeing signs of it again. I think their running game is hot right now. Elijah Mitchell is proven to be a reliable back. Everyone made fun of me at the beginning of the year for dropping $105 on him in our fantasy football league. And I'm glad I did. The guy puts up points. He's kind of a staple piece in that offense. See you later, Trey Sermon. His career's done. Haven't seen him, but yeah, I think, buzzsaw is a great word to describe the 49ers right now, Alex. So I like them right now.
Do you know DK Metcalf had one target the entire game? Maybe.
And then it was, remember I was talking about that 2-minute drill, coming back to that, just drove all the way down the field. Metcalf has a nice little pat catch out of bounds. What are they doing? Why aren't they doing that all game long? I don't get it.
I think Russ is just not healthy enough right now to play quarterback, but
that roster is terrible too. Russ is good. He's beat up. Besides that, they have Lockett and DK, who they don't use right. They don't have any running back right now. Their defense is terrible.
So bad.
Jamal Adams is the only one who's competent enough to.
You know what's funny though? Jamal
on
Adams,
that defense,
because of how bad they'll have ended up giving away a 4th overall pick for Jamal Adams.
Yeah, that roster is terrible. That GM is maybe one of the worst in the league. They've done nothing to help Russ or build a team around him in the past few years since that Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor team. They've never recovered from that.
Corey?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with I think the 49ers are going to run the ball like 95 times in this game. If you bet on that because the Seahawks cannot stop the run. Antonio Gibson and even McKissick last night were running up and down the field on the Seattle Seahawks. And again, we've talked about, I don't think Russ is healthy. They are at home. It is, a divisional game, so the line's a little bit closer, and that's the only reason. But if this was in San Francisco, I think this would be a higher spread. So I'm going to take the 49ers here -3.5, though I think like this could be a trap and the Seahawks somehow backdoor cover this, but I like 49ers.
Yeah. So as I was talking about how the Raiders were my lock of the week, I had going into the show today before I switched it to the Raiders because I just feel a bit more confident because I think the Seahawks do have the potential to completely blow it again. But my lock of the week was going to be Seahawks +3.5. I do think this could be a trap spot where everyone looks at how the Seahawks have performed the last several weeks and looked at the 49ers and how they performed, and the public absolutely hammers the Niners. Probably one of the most publicly bet teams of the week is what I'd guess. And I just, what I see happening is when they're looking at film or whatever, and they look back at, okay, when we scored on that last drive, like what happened? Like we passed the ball out, like we let Russ throw. I do think maybe Russ is slightly banged up, but I think at home in a divisional game, getting over a field goal with Russell Wilson as your quarterback, I think they obviously have to make some changes. Like they can't keep doing what they've been doing and win. So they're going to change it up. They're going to have a new game plan going into this next week. And I think you could have I think one of Metcalf or Lockett is going to have a massive, massive game. My guess would be Metcalf. I think he has a better matchup. But, the Seahawks did beat the 49ers by a touchdown earlier this year in San Francisco. I know the 49ers have been playing better lately, but I just think at home I have to take Russ, and I'm going Seahawks +3.5. So
you think they're
Little
going
fun fact, Jimmy G's had the best QB ranking the past 5 weeks.
yeah, he's looked pretty solid. And the other reason why like I ended up taking the Raiders over this is the 49ers do actually match up well because the Seahawks have been getting pounded on the ground. And what team like the 49ers run the ball better than almost every team in the league. But that could run a lot of clock down, could be lower scoring and just, yeah.
Do you think this is the week that Pete Carroll, after 6 years, decides to not run the ball on first and second down?
Gosh, I can't. It's so hard to. I can't watch that anymore.
Like this is the week. This is the week he decides.
I do think because it's like, okay, in the last however many years, I mean, how often have they missed the playoffs? Like they've had like a good enough team where they've been able to get away with terrible play calling.
You're seeing the end of an era.
It could be. I mean, it honestly could be, and I'm just catching the Seahawks just completely decline. But I think they're gonna. It's a divisional game. I think they're gonna switch things up and let Russ pass a lot more. And so I got to take the Seahawks. Russ with points at home, like you rarely are gonna get that. So I got to do it. All right, 2 games left. We have Sunday night football. Chiefs back on the slate. Broncos at Chiefs. The spread is now -10. So Nick, big Chiefs fan over here, big Mahomes fan over here. What are you taking here?
Well, the Broncos defense, I think, is kind of the X factor in this one.
Patrick Surtain is the truth.
He's good.
Did you see his first pick 6 was against the Dolphins? And his dad's last pick 6 was also against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds of that? If you could bet that, you'd get like +8 million. I don't know, kind of a full circle, cool little thing there. I think that defense is hot though. PB actually called this going into the year. He said, look out for that Broncos defense, and we're starting to see it come alive. Held the Chargers to 10 or 13 points last week. So I think it's legit. Divisional games we know are always tough. It's close. I like 10 points here. I think Mahomes is a fraud. We don't have to get into it today, but Give me the Broncos +10. I think the Chiefs probably win though.
Yeah, I agree with you here, Nick. I think this is too many points. The Chiefs over the last 2 years have been atrocious against the spread. And I think that I agree they win this game, but probably by a touchdown, if not less. Broncos coming off a good win against the Chargers, defense looking real good. So I'll take that double-digit spread as well.
I like the Chiefs. I think they are coming together quickly. Broncos defense, I mean, yes, they're looking better than they have earlier in the season.
They've looked great all year.
Okay, well, we can pick and choose, who they looked good against. And
Doesn't matter. They're letting up so few points. I mean, yes, there's a couple games where they've let teams. They've held just before you go, I want to tell you what teams they've held. They've held the Chargers to 13. They held the Cowboys to 16. Washington to 10. Browns they let 17. Ravens 23, which still not that much for a team. Jets 0, Jags 13, Giants 13. Like, they don't allow that many points to teams. I'm just like saying from the beginning of the year when I said the Broncos, and that's without Bradley Chubb and trading away Von Miller. Chubb, I think, is still coming back, isn't he?
I'm not sure on that front, but so if we're talking about, you're not going to hold the Chiefs. I don't care what you want to say. You're not going to hold the Chiefs to under 20 points. I don't think it's possible. I mean, it is possible. That's
Bet.
You want to make a little wager?
Slap bet.
We'll make an online wager, a friendly bet. We can't do it over the air, so we're betting illegally. But
okay, fair. We'll talk after the show. I think this is gonna be a high scoring game.
He's Bradley Chubb to play full workload against Chiefs.
Don't care.
Oof.
Okay, I'm just saying, like,
Mahomes
I know,
is going to throw
okay.
so many picks.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He's so bad.
And if the reason they get one is because it's gonna be thrown to Josh Gordon's gonna hit him off the freaking helmet and it's gonna get picked. Because that happens every time he throws Josh Gordon, is exactly what happens. So I like the Chiefs here. I don't think Broncos can score nearly enough points to keep this game close. I think their game script is going to be run the ball, keep Mahomes off the field. And the Chiefs defense has come alive. It's looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. Give me Chiefs -10. I know they can't cover, so I'll probably be taking an L on this, but I like the Chiefs here.
Alex?
I already said Broncos. Too many points.
I'm on the Chiefs -10. I know I just went on talking about the Broncos and their defense and how great it is, but when you have a quarterback as good as Mahomes and as good of an offense as that is, I don't really care how good your defense is. Mahomes is like I said earlier, that we've seen some quarterbacks, kind of the quarterbacks that were in contention for MVP, Brady, Stafford, Lamar, Josh Allen.
Kyler Murray.
Who?
Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah, Kyler, but since he's been injured, he's kind of it's harder for him to win it. He probably would have been a candidate. He's probably kicking himself because he was playing great. Then quarterbacks started playing terrible, and he just was injured. If he comes in hot, he could still win it. He could.
Yeah, we'll just give it to Mac Jones this year.
He's past Jamar Chase and rookie of the year, but no, I think that Mahomes could easily put himself right back in contention as one of the leading candidates to win MVP in this last stretch of the season. And I just think that the Chiefs, I think coming out of the bye, Andy Reid has been one of the best coaches coming out of the bye against the spread, winning. It's usually that's not a stat, but Andy Reid specifically is one coach that has been so good at game planning coming out of the bye. And I'm on the Chiefs here -10. I hope I have a couple Mahomes MVP tickets that I'm still hoping come alive, but We'll see. We'll see about that. Last game we have Patriots at Bills. Bills are minus. Is it at 3 now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
at least on DraftKings.
Bills -3. So we'll start. You just talking about Mac Jones, Nick. Talk to us about maybe why you might take the Patriots here.
I like is it Patriots -3?
No, Patriots at Bills, Patriots +3.
Oof. This is tough. I think the Patriots might be one of the best teams in football right now. Hard for me to say with a rookie quarterback, but they're playing lights out. I mean, Bill Belichick, I think, will probably win Coach of the Year, so that's pretty great. But
Actually, he's one of the leading candidates, but I think
yeah,
Cliff Kingsbury is going to steal that.
one of those two guys. Well deserved either way. They're playing at an elite level of football. Not many other teams have achieved this year and maintained for that sake. Bills being one of them. They started really hot and started to pick it up again a little bit, but I don't know. I think I just like I think I'd like the Bills here to win this game just because Belichick's one of those psycho motherfuckers that'll throw a game just so he doesn't give up the game plan and then wins when it matters. So I kind of like Patriots +3, but Bills to win and taking them on the money line.
Trying to really middle that game there.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
splitting hairs here, Nick.
Yeah, that's really, especially you're not even getting the half. That's really splitting hairs.
Oh, you think this is going to be a blowout?
Yes.
Come on.
It doesn't have to be a blowout. Like to get the +3 and a money line, you need to finish by 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's a blowout. Field goal.
This is going to be.
It's going to be a good one.
I think the Bills are going to absolutely run the Patriots out of the building. My thinking behind this is I think this is going to be a high scoring game. I know the Patriots, their defense is looking good. The Bills offense is a juggernaut, and I don't think that the Patriots will be able to keep up with the points that the Bills are going to score. It's 43.5 is the over under. I love the over.
It's supposed to be like rainy and snowy and windy.
Yeah.
Tre'Davious White is out too.
Yeah.
Again, okay. So so barring crazy, but the Bills play in that weather all the time. I'm not too worried about that. If it was like a dome team coming out, and then I would, but I don't think I think the Patriots, they've looked good. They've beaten some okay teams here. I mean, with good records, but like, have they really beaten the top, the cream of the crop? I don't think they have. So I like the Bills here -2.5 at home. I think they win.
It's at 3.
Okay, -3. I like them by a touchdown.
Okay, Alex.
I think this is going to be a great game.
Oh, it's my lock.
Oh, that's your lock.
Bills lock of the week for Corey.
So right now we have, so obviously Nick didn't give any locks, but
Saving it till the end. I think it's a good one.
okay. So we have locks so far. We have 49ers -3.5. We have Corey on the Bills -3. Myself on the Raiders -2.5. And then
I'll go Vikings -7 for my lock.
Okay. But we still have to go because we're still talking about this Patriots Bills games, aren't we?
Yeah.
I was just adding.
We have a couple picks here. This is going to be a good game. This is going to be a slop fest of a game. I think at 43.5 is making me lean towards Patriots and the points. Mac Jones is a guy, and it's just so painful to watch the Patriots just continue to play well. I think that with the game lending itself towards the under, I like the Patriots run game and defensive combo better in that with the points. And I also think they're just a wagon right now. Them and the 49ers, I think, are playing probably the two best, at least the last couple of weeks have been playing the best football in the league. So give me Patriots on the road, and I'll take the points.
I'm gonna be on the Bills -3 with Corey. I just think, sometimes these rookie quarterbacks can struggle against like the most elite defenses in the league, and I would classify the Bills as top 3 defense in the league. And so I think Mac Jones, we could see struggle here. And I think Josh Allen, I think he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's another quarterback that can still make his case for MVP. And yeah, I think the Bills, kind of take the Patriots off their high horse here. But Nick, okay, so Nick, your lock of the week is
Vikings -7.
all right. So we have all of our locks. And anyone else have any last words before we end the show here?
No.
Well, I guess the last words would be, we've come off 8 in a row losses. So hopefully at least a couple of us at least 3 out of 4 of us get a hit our lock.
I think I'm bringing back the Nick's Diamond Dozen. I think I'm gonna do a 15-game parlay with all my picks because I think I'm due for one. So I will.
This is the week.
Oh yeah, let's quickly a little segment because we don't talk about, I think, teasers enough. And first I want to just start off by saying you should never tease unless you're going through 2 key numbers. That's just like a flat out rule. You should never do like a -3 to a +3 or something like that, or a -4 to a -10, or what is it? Like a +3.5 to like a +9.5 or something like that. Because you lose so much value. Never do that. You'll lose over time. And you should never tease through 0, like going from -4 to +2, because at that point it's better odds to just take the money line parlay with whatever teaser you're going to do, and it's just you get better odds that way. So that's just like a little tidbit of information. With that said, is there any teams that, because I have a couple teams that I think would like classify as cutting through a couple key numbers, but does anyone else have teasers in mind?
I'd bring the Bucks down, the Colts down.
Wait, so you have to give the number down,
Huh?
You have to give the number.
Okay, so I bring Colts down to -3.
From there you go. You went through 1 key number.
8 from 8.5 to 2.5.
No, you went going from
6-point teaser.
It's -9.
Yeah, -9. You're going through with key number of 7, and you don't get it through the 3.
If it's down to 8.5, I would.
Yeah, if it's 8.5, it's a great one. Because
why does Nick have 8.5? Is it? Oh, it's 9. Okay, well,
so
fine. Don't do that.
I'm just saying, it's just like they're called
7-point teaser on it.
Yeah, but 7 points, then you have to like
you're losing a nickel on it.
You lose. It's 2-team teasers are like really the only thing you should do, because you have to either include a 3rd team, which sucks, just to get like decent value. Otherwise, you're laying way too much juice on just that number.
Well, what's your teasers?
The ones that I had in mind are, one of my favorites is the Rams, 12.5 to 6.5. You get it through the 10 and the 7. So I like less than a touchdown. The Rams, that's one of my favorites to include in your teasers.
Cardinals.
What?
Get the Cardinals down to -1.5.
The Cardinals were another one I was looking at, but because I'm on the Bears side, getting it from 7.5 to +13.5. That's one you could honestly like go Rams -6.5 and then get both sides of it. So like, as long as the Rams cover, you could potentially still win the other 2 bets. You could get, but like you can at least break even. You know what I mean? As long as the Rams cover, if you get the Cardinals -1.5 and the Bears +13.5, one of those is going to hit as long as the Rams cover, and both of them could hit.
I like the Chargers. You get 9.5 against the Bengals.
That
feels safe.
From
3.5 to 9.5.
Again, 1 key number.
I know. Well, I think that's
If
a
the
dumb
Chargers
rule.
go down to 2.5, then it would be probably worth it. If you can get 2.5 to 8.5, then it would be worth it.
Yeah.
And then let's see the other ones. I mean, honestly, I mean, the thing is, I don't usually like the Saints getting from 4.5 to 10.5 would classify as a team that you get through two key numbers. But I usually don't. The other like rule that I like to do with teasers is teams that have the potential, like that have really good offenses that could just absolutely blow out another team. I usually don't like teasing against because they always have that capability. So yeah, I mean, I think the Rams are the best one. And then, I guess either side of the Cardinals Bears works. But yeah, that's kind of those are my two picks, I'd say.
Okay.
Anyone else have any last words on
No.
parlays, teasers, player props?
No, I think it's too early for player props anyway. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. All right. Well, that wraps this show up for week 13 on the spread picks. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the DFS slate, the main Sunday slate. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, leave a review if you're listening on on Spotify. Help us boost it in the algorithm. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
peace.